Oh boy. Is my lipstick uneven? The night that I'm filming this is the Saturday before Christmas, and any of you guys who work in a salon, you know that this is like the busiest time of year. So if I'm looking a little rough, it's been a rough week. By the way, hi, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sam. I'm a professional hairstylist, and today's video, I wanted to do something a little bit different. So if any of you guys are following me on Instagram on my hair page, I post on there all the time before and after photos, videos of different hair transformations, and I wanted to bring that onto YouTube. I've done videos in the past where I'm actually in the salon doing a tutorial and talking through as I'm doing somebody's hair, and I still plan on doing those videos. Actually, I'm going to be recording one tomorrow, but those are a little bit tougher to film because I have coworkers and they have clients and it's busy and there's a whole bunch of people in the salon, and so it would be ridiculous for me to have to turn the music off and tell everybody, like, be quiet, don't talk, it needs to be silent because I'm filming a YouTube video. Like, I can't do that. No, like, these are paying customers. So anyway, so instead I thought that I could set up my camera, record what I'm doing, and then kind of just commentate and explain to you guys the entire process, what I did and why I did it. I know a lot of you are also hairstylists or are future stylists, so maybe this can be a little bit helpful. And for those of you who are not hairstylists, maybe this will just be interesting for you to see what it's like and the thought process and everything that goes into all of those before and after transformations that you see on Instagram. So let me know what you guys think of this idea, if you think it should be a regular series on my channel. So anyway, let's just get into it. This is a color correction that I did earlier this week. She was a new client, but she had came in previously for a consultation. So at that point, we were able to have a really in-depth conversation and talk all about her hair history, her hair goals, her lifestyle, etc. So this client is naturally a dirty blonde. I would say she's about a level 7, very, 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 very ashy though. So her hair was previously lightened to a light blonde color, and then I guess she just got sick of it, didn't like the tone of it, wanted to do something different. So she decided to put a brown box dye over her pre-lightened hair. But she only did it one time, so she only had the one layer of color, and luckily she didn't do a super dark brown color. She did more of like a medium brown. So if you look at the before pictures, she has a few inches of regrowth, so you can see her natural virgin root color up at the top. And then she has a band where it's a lighter color, and then the ends are a darker color. That brown that she put on faded to like a really gingery kind of reddish brown color. So her goal was to be blonde, but she wanted something that was going to be low maintenance, that was going to blend in with her natural color. She's in college, so she doesn't have the funds or the time to be coming back into the salon every month to get her hair touched up. So she needed something that was easy and that was going to have a nice seamless grow out. When she came in for her consultation, this is super important. I made sure that I did a test strand. Anytime somebody comes in and they have artificial color on their hair that wasn't done by me and I don't know what was used, I like to do a little test strand just to see what happens with their hair. That way I can get a better idea of what's going to be a realistic goal, what they can expect their hair to look like by the end of their first appointment, and it'll also let me know if their hair is healthy enough to be lightened or to go through whatever color process we need to do. So I did the test strand. I only left it on for about 15 minutes and it looked like it was lightening pretty nicely. It still felt nice and strong, so I thought that it would be safe to move along with the process, so we booked her appointment. So my thought process with this was, I knew I wanted to make her a more dimensional blonde. I didn't want her to just be like a solid blonde all over, because that makes it more high maintenance. It makes it look more artificial. She wanted something that was going to look natural. So what I decided to do was alternate low lights with highlights. I didn't want to just do highlights and then leave some pieces out, because the pieces I was leaving out were going to be that really ugly gingery color with the uneven band. I knew I needed to cover that up and correct it and cancel out some of that warmth. So for my low light, I used Paul Mitchell the Demi color, and I did equal parts of 7N with 9V. So level 7 natural with a level 9 violet base. Mix the two together and it gives like a really nice neutral kind of beigey level 8 color. For my low light color, I didn't want to do anything too dark. I didn't want her to look like she had skunk hair, like blonde with dark brown chunks. I wanted the low light to still be blonde so that everything just blended in together, just added like really subtle dimension. So I wanted to formulate something that was going to be as light as possible while still being able to cover that color that she had. So that's why I decided to go with a beige level 8 for the low light color. And then for my highlight pieces, I didn't want to just take lightener and just slap it on, because remember, she has that band there. And if I just use lightener with the same volume developer from top to bottom, that band would end up being a lot lighter and brighter than the ends. So I used a higher volume developer on the ends where the color was more saturated and darker. I did a 20 volume, and then up where that lighter band was, I used 10 volume. And the way that I applied this was I did the 20 volume on all of the darker pieces, and then where that lighter band was, I took the 10 volume and I feathered it up into her roots. I decided to not tease her hair because her root area was really small, and I didn't want to risk leaving out any of the artificially colored pieces. Like, I wanted full coverage on her entire head, if that makes sense. So I just kind of feathered up into the roots. I didn't want to go completely solid all the way up because we did want to blend. When her hair grows out, we don't want any harsh lines. We want it to look very blended and seamless. So that's what I did. I literally just alternated low light, highlight, low light, highlight, low light, highlight. The way that I sectioned her hair was I did one mohawk section in the center in the front, because she mostly wears her hair in the center and kind of flips it around. So I worked off of a center part so that it would be even no matter where she decides to part her hair. For the mohawk section, I just did horizontal slices going all the way back. And then on either side of her head, I did diagonal back slices going in this direction all the way up the head. And then in the back of her head, I split her hair into 2 sections and did diagonal back slices going all the way up. So I did all slices on her entire head. I was going to weave some pieces, but I just felt like because I was doing the lowlights and the highlights, it was just so much easier and faster to just do like little tiny thin slices. Her hair definitely is way more on the finer side, but she had a pretty good, decent, full amount of hair. And because we were putting all of her hair in foils, it was a pretty long application process. Just applying all of that took about 2 hours. Because the application process took so long, every time I would finish one section, I would go to the first highlight that I started and I would take it out and I would check it. So at least every 20 to 30 minutes or so, I was going through and checking all of the highlights, making sure that they weren't over processing or getting damaged. So you will see in this clip, I have a couple pieces of her highlights that are just like laying all over the place. I don't like to bring them over to the sink and rinse out part of their head. I like to just keep them at the chair the entire time. I don't know, I just feel like it's easier for me. It's a little bit less messy. So I'll just take the foil out, and if it looks like it's done, I will take, with gloves on my hands, I'll just kind of squeeze the lightener off of the hair and then just take it out of the foil, and then it's fine. And when I was applying, I started in the front, and then once I got to the back, I did up my developer to 30 volume on the darker pieces on the ends, just so that everything would kind of process a little bit more evenly, and she didn't have to sit for too long once I was done applying everything. So I think by the time I finally did the last foil, she only had to sit for 15 to 20 minutes. So then when it was time to rinse her out, I brought her over to the sink, took all the foils out, shampooed her hair, and then it was time to go and do my toner. She did say that she wanted a darker root. She likes the look of a shadow root, and I like doing shadow roots on pretty much every foil client for the most part, because I just feel like it helps add to that really nice blended look. So I did do a darker root. However, because her natural color is pretty light, I did a demi-permanent color, and I didn't go too dark with the color. If I had thrown on like a level 3 or 4 permanent color on her roots, when her hair starts to grow out, she is going to have a harsh line, and it's going to look crazy because she's going to have this band of a dark root and then her lighter natural roots up at the top. And that's just, no, like that's the complete opposite of the blended natural look we were going for. So I did a demi-permanent color so that it would be softer and not as opaque. And also as her hair grows out, that color will kind of fade and lighten a little bit, and everything will just blend perfectly. Take a shot every time I say blend. So the formula for her shadow root, again, I used Paul Mitchell, the demi color, and I did equal parts of 3 BV, level 3 blue violet, with 6A, level 6 ash. So mix the two together and you get somewhere around like a level 5, which is darker than her level 7 natural root. However, because it's demi-permanent, it's not as opaque, so it doesn't look quite as dark. And also, like I said, as it grows out, that color will fade and lighten up anyway. So I did that all on her roots with the exception of the very front pieces. I wanted to keep those blonde pieces coming all the way up to the root and keep them like very bright. And whenever I'm applying a shadow root, I like to kind of work in a diagonal shape so that it lays more naturally on the head. Obviously the head is round, so everything kind of goes in this type of shape. And so that's the exact way that I like to apply my shadow roots. So I don't bring it down quite as far in the front, and then as I work towards the back, I bring it down a little bit lower and lower. And then for her color on the ends, I mix equal parts of 9BV with 9V. And I just applied that to the ends, and where that color met with the darker shadow root color, I just blended everything together. I actually used a wet brush and I just like brushed everything together so that it would create a really nice color melt. I let that process for about 10 minutes or so, rinsed it out, added some waves in her hair, and voila. This is the final product. I was really upset because it was dark out by the time that we finished her hair, and I would have loved to get some video clips and photos of it outside in natural light so you could really see the color better. So we just used some studio lights and took the pictures indoors. And it still looks really beautiful and pretty true to tone, but obviously like outside in natural light, that's always where you can see color the best and where it always looks like the most true to tone. Because we all know, right, that color looks different depending on the lighting that you're looking at it in. But yeah, I was very happy with the results, and most importantly, I was just so happy with the condition of her hair at the end. Anytime you are trying to go blonde and you have artificial color in your hair, especially when it's box dye, it can be tricky, and it just increases the chances of your hair getting damaged throughout the process. But I was sure to add bond builders to all of my lightener mixtures. We use Brazilian bond builder at the salon where I work, so that gave me a little bit extra insurance. Also making sure that I was going through and checking the foils periodically and making sure that nothing was over processing, and doing that test strand ahead of time so that I knew what her hair was going to be able to handle. You always want to be careful though, because even when you do a test strand, just because that one piece looks good, there could be a certain section of their head where they have like more color buildup or just more damage. Maybe the hair is just weaker. So even if you do a test strand, you still always want to be careful and constantly be going back and checking all of your foils and making sure that everything is looking good. So in total, the entire service from the time she walked in until the time that she left, including taking photos, paying, everything, took 4 hours. And I know it seems crazy. It's like, wow, 4 hours is a long time, especially for a color that looks pretty natural, but that's how long it takes. I had to put her entire head in foils, and they had to be thin pieces. I couldn't just take big chunks because then it would have came out uneven, and her hair was already uneven to begin with, and so I needed to correct that. So yeah, that was the entire process. That's everything I did and my thinking behind everything. Like I said, let me know what you guys think about these videos. Should I do it as a regular series? Did you like this? Is this something that you'd like to see more of? Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you did like it, please give the video a thumbs up. It helps my channel out a lot. And if you'd like to see more from me, make sure that you subscribe before you go and hit the bell notification. Also, feel free to go over and follow me on Instagram. Like I said, I'm always posting hair transformation photos and videos, but that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye.